What's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So my last video clearly touched a nerve. It caused some serious waves on the in the comments, and it's not because I said anything that's wild or offensive. I don't think so, anyway. But simply because I said if I had to choose, and this is a really, really tough choice, if I had to choose in the upcoming election, I would veer towards voting for the PNM. Now, that clearly triggers quite a lot of people. And I just want to make this clear. This isn't a party loyalty thing, all right? I'm not some sort of PNM diehard or anything like that. In fact, I don't trust any party blindly, and I never will. I gave my honest view based on where I see potential, However small that may be, that's where I see potential. And I made it clear that real change would not happen from any of these parties unless we, the people, start demanding more. I cannot reiterate this anymore. I cannot make this any clearer. So why people are getting so triggered because I made or I decided, if I given the choice, this is where I will vote. This is the direction I would head in because I see potential with this party. Nonetheless, the entire point of that video was that neither PNM nor the UNC has done enough for the people. Neither party has done enough for the people. I call that both sides, and I challenge both leaders. I said the system is broken, as I've repeatedly said, and I stand by that. You're not going to intimidate me in the comments and whatnot. It's just ridiculous. Stop with the ridiculous comments. It's just going to get deleted. It doesn't intimidate anyone. You're not big and tough. Just behave yourself. Calm down. Some of you got really triggered the moment I leaned slightly away from a certain party. And that tells me something deeper. That politics in Trinidad has become like a religion to a lot of people. Just blind loyalty. Just blind loyalty. No critical thinking, just rage, anger. When someone steps outside the box that you're in. I had people saying that they're not going to talk to me. And what are you talking about? I don't know. To whoever you are, I wasn't that interested in talking to you in the first place. I just gave my opinion. If you don't want to talk to me after that, then that's fine. That's down to you. Some of you need to calm down. You need to chill. I simply gave an opinion as I see it. And if your first reaction is to abuse someone instead of engaging with what they said, that's not strength, is it? That's just, I don't know, that's just emotional immaturity coming from you. And you need to probably reevaluate yourself and maybe take a look at yourself in the mirror and listen, we need to move past this tribal mentality and start focusing on what actually improves lives in Trinidad. On a serious note, we need to move past this tribal nonsense. These parties are not a religion. You love them more than you love your own kids, it appears to me. You need to ask yourself, has your party, whichever one you support, truly made your life better? So you look back to when the UNC was in power between 2010 and 2015. Do you think your life was better? And if so, then fair enough. You go ahead and you vote for whoever you decide to vote for. and likewise a PNM. And you have to ask yourself questions like, has your salary gone up? Has crime gone down? Is the country more united, more productive, more secure? These are the questions you need to ask yourself when going to the polls and when going to vote. So listen, it's I'm laughing, but it's not really a laughing matter, to be honest. It's not. This is serious, and this is the future of the country for at least the next 4 years, and that you guys are making a decision on in the next few weeks. And I'm not here to fight. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. I'm not here to fight the UNC or the PNM. I'm here to fight for the people of Trinidad and to give you the information and the facts as best as I see it. That's the only way we would have real progress if we came together. I don't think either party, I think both parties are useless. So if you're angry at me for having an opinion, maybe that anger should be aimed at the people in power. The people who've been letting you down for decades. Don't come at me with what's that going to prove? What's that going to solve? Let's have an intellectual conversation. Let's have a normal conversation. This tough guy and tough girl talks like some of you people are putting in the comments. Just grow up. Just grow up. Just grow up as a nation. Let's stop fighting over red and yellow. Yellow is a code or whatever nonsense. And start building something that works for everyone. This is what we need to focus on. It's quite frustrating. Like I say, I feel like both these parties are fairly pathetic in how they've served the people of Trinidad. We could do a lot better. And whilst I do agree that there are a lot of decent MPs out there, there are some decent MPs out there. There are people who have the right intention. But for a country like Trinidad to be in the state that it's in, when I look at the crime rate in Trinidad, the reason why we don't have as much investors wanting to come to the country is because they look at the crime rate and they decide, no, there's no way I'm going to invest. I remember the England cricket team came over not too long ago, and they were told to stay indoors at all time. There is you. Living in the UK, you are told if you're going to Trinidad, be careful because of the astronomical crime rate. If anyone thinks that's a good thing, listen, each their own and everyone should have their opinion, but in my opinion, that's not a good thing for foreign countries to be told, when you go to Trinidad, it's so dangerous, stay indoors, don't go outside. That's not good. And anyone saying that's a good thing, then you probably need to have your head examined. I make no apologies for saying that. So, moving forward, if you're going to come at me with nonsense, you're going to come at me with threats, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's not going to, it doesn't, let's have an intellectual conversation. Let's talk about how we can move the country forward. Let's talk about whoever becomes the next leader of Trinidad, whoever that may be, whether it be Stuart Young or Kamala Persad Bisesa. Let's decide to hold them to account for once, because the old things that we've done, the things we've done in the past clearly isn't working. We need new leader. I believe we need new leadership. We need fresh leadership. We appear to live in a two-party state. It's going to be between the PNM and the UNC. The other parties are just there to maybe steal a few votes from either party, but it's going to be between the PNM and the UNC essentially. So Trinidad is essentially a two-party state, and we need an extra pair of hands. We need an alternative. We need an alternative government. I believe we need an alternative. Someone to come in that's vibrant, someone that's fresh, someone that's, that really puts the country first, right? That really, the money made by Trinidad is plowed back into the economy, into education, into health, into the youth, entrepreneurs, apprenticeships, giving people the opportunity to work, to earn money whilst they're learning, and then have jobs lined up once they get that qualification, because that's a huge problem in the Caribbean. You have a lot of qualified people leaving to go to the States, leaving to go to the UK, and we have the brain drain issue, like I've said before, we suffer from in the Caribbean, because people then get their qualification, realize that the job market doesn't align with the qualification they have, so they then decide to leave. That's another thing we need to crack down on. That's something that we, so, and we need to create jobs. We need to have alternatives to oil and gas, and we need to tap into all these other alternatives. We hear politicians say all the time, diversify the economy, and no one's doing that. And when they say that, I hope you know what they mean. They mean that the country relies on two things, predominantly oil and gas. That's the main source of income. So anyone trying to dress this up as anything else, the main sources of income in Trinidad is oil and gas. Just look it up, Google it, do your research. So the minute oil and gas is affected, the country's GDP, the country's economy is affected. And this is why we need to diversify. This is why we need to look at alternative. This is why agriculture needs to become, one of the main sources of possibly income, or a country that has to import. Or the last time I did my research, Trinidad imports more food than it exports. A large percentage of the food you buy from the supermarket are imported from places in America and wherever else, mainly America. Right? And now with Trump putting tariffs, which is a tax, like I've said to you in many of my videos, a tariff is a tax. With Trump putting a tax levy on products coming into Trinidad, your grocery prices are going to go up. Your grocery price, I'm warning you, your grocery prices are going to go up. You're going to see at least a 10% rise in your grocery prices, right? So this is not good. If we produced our own food in Trinidad, if we tapped into agriculture and we started growing our own food in the Caribbean, the government needs to invest in agriculture, give people loans, and if we had our own food, we don't depend on food coming in from elsewhere, right? And these are the sort of things that I talk about when you talk about diversifying the economy. You talk about tourism, and you talk about tech, you talk about manufacturing. These are the things that we need to have. If we had that, similar to the places like China is going to dominate America in this trade war because China produces everything. They don't import. I mean, probably the only country in the world that doesn't rely on import, does not rely on import whatsoever. They tell America, come, bring the fight. We take you on. China's going to dominate America in this trade war. And this is another thing we need to look at, aligning ourselves with the likes of China a lot more, the BRICS pact that a lot of you may or may not know about. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and other countries are joining almost on a monthly basis. Places like Nigeria just recently joined. I've also recently seen that we have now drawn up some sort of a cargo plane to fly straight from Trinidad to Nigeria, which is a direct link now between Trinidad and Nigeria. Cargo and passenger plane. I don't think it's officially, I think it's just been signed. I don't think it's happening yet. It's just a contract that's been drawn up to bring us closer to Africa, I suppose, and that can only be a good thing. So I think moving forward, we need to start aligning ourselves with these countries, because America is a falling empire. America is a falling empire. America became the number one country in the world after World War II. They took over being the empire of the world from Great Britain. Britain was the empire. When you hear people say the sun never sets on Great Britain, meaning that they owned half the world, India, Africa. So every time the sun sets in one part, it rises on another side of the world. That's what they mean when they say the sun never sets on the British Empire, right? They were the empire. World War II happened. It destroyed Britain. America was hardly touched by World War II. They rose as the number one empire. They created the World Bank, the IMF, you name it, and they created the strongest military in the world. That's what they know they needed, the strongest military in the world. Like the biggest, baddest boy or the bully in your school, everyone was scared of. America knew what they needed to do to be the number one economy. So they created the strongest military. They created the World Bank, and they decided that the entire world was going to trade in American dollar. The American dollar became number one. That lasted for over 100 years. America has been number one, the number one economy. China was nothing in the 1940s, one of the poorest countries, but China started rising. America started giving their manufacturing over to China. Great Britain started giving their manufacturing over to China because people didn't want to do that kind of work over here in Britain and in America. So China thought, yeah, we take that. We take the manufacturing, and China kept building and building and building and building. Look at where they are now. People say they're the number 2 economy in the world. I believe they are the number 1 economy in the world. Their military is terrifying. You know, they create everything. They manufacture everything. The world would collapse without China in many ways, you know, in terms of the things they produce. So, you know, moving forward, I think Trinidad, whoever becomes leader, needs to reevaluate where we align ourselves. Because what Trump is doing to us is dictating to us. He's dictating to us. We are a sovereign nation. We are a sovereign nation. Look up the word sovereignty. Look up who we are. We are a sovereign nation, and we're still being dictated to by America. The Dragon's gas deal is a great example of that. That deal is quashed, by the way, for the next 4 years. Don't believe this nonsense coming from Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State for America. He does not pull the strings in America. Donald Trump does. And so long as Maduro is in charge, so long as Nicolas Maduro is in charge of Venezuela, there is no way that Dragon's gas deal is ever going to go through. I'm telling you this now. It's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen so long as Maduro is in charge. And what America has typically done over the years, because Venezuela has got so much gas in the top 5 or top 10, definitely in the top 10 or top 5 natural gas producers in the world. What America has typically done over the years is they've come in, they've taken control of a country, they have fabricated lies about a leader, they get that leader out because they can't control. The problem with America is they can't control Maduro. Maduro decides, right? Trump has once said he wants to go to war with Venezuela, right? He wants to, why don't we just drop a bomb on them is what he once said, right? So America comes in, right? They get rid of Maduro. Maduro is not playing ball at the minute. That's why Trump hates him so much. He doesn't care about the Venezuelan people. All this stuff about he's committing whatever he's doing in Venezuela, genocide, whatever America is accusing him of. He's abusing the citizens of Venezuela. It's all nonsense. It's all a lie to get this man out of power. If they get him out of power, they put their own puppet leader in place. A puppet regime, one that they can control. And guess what? Once they're able to control whoever they put in charge, they control the natural resources. And that eliminates everyone else. So this Dragon's gas deal is not going to happen. It's not going to happen so long as Donald Trump is in power. Because America needs that, they want to control the gas, they want to control the oil. Venezuela's got a lot of it. They'd put Shell in there, they put BP in there, they'd sign up a nice little deal, and then Trinidad might get some of the leftovers, but America would get whatever they want from there. That's what he wants. So long as Maduro's there, the Dragon's gas deal is not going to happen. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I mean, I saw the headline again today that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is still going to discuss the Dragon's gas deal with whoever becomes leader on the 26th or the 28th or whenever it's nonsense. It's not going to happen. Not for the foreseeable future. Not so long as the Nicolas Maduro is in charge. But anyway, sorry for anyone I offended. A lot of you took offense to my last video, but I simply gave my opinion, and I'm going to stick with my opinion. And listen, we've got a long few years ahead of us. But if we pull together, if we work together, we could be the change that this country needs. I'll see you guys in my next video. For now, much love. Take care. Peace.